underground. TP underground has the best video clips around. TP underground has the best video clips in town. TP underground has the best video clips around. TP underground has the best video clips in town. TP underground has the best video clips around. TP underground has the best video clips in town. TP underground has the best video clips around. TP underground has the best video clips in town. TP underground has the best video clips around.
Hi everybody, back again here. Please like the stream. Doing another stream. I was gonna take the day off, but I can't not meet the goal. So I'm just gonna keep trying until the goal is met. So if you want to help out, it's pinned right there in the top of the chat. We're like $180 away. Not too far. I think we might be able to make it. Please like the stream. And we're going to watch some stuff together. Please like it, though. I saw this earlier and I had to share it. Do you guys remember the hacker group Anonymous? They released a message to Trump and his supporters and the rest of the American public. So let's check this out.
Greetings, citizens of the United States. The effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch.
I feel like I'm living in this weird dystopian fiction, but it's reality. It's quite unsettling.
The cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely. The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, will see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is, in reality, a calculated strategy. The plan? To systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you. The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement, they are about control. The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. These operations are disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the mainstream. Fascist ideals, once whispered in the shadows, are now being openly embraced. Symbolism matters. Gestures matter. Elon Musk, a figure of immense influence, recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning. But know this, the people are not silent. Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit. Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight.
So basically what they're saying here is that, Trump tore down a bunch of things and left huge security gaps in doing so. And Anonymous is looking to exploit these vulnerabilities that now exist.
Every official removed without proper transition planning leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework. These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can, and will, be breached. Anonymous watches. Anonymous waits. The time to act is fast approaching. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look. We know how to strike. But understand this. Our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting, and once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future.
And I'm wondering, like, what do they mean by resistance? Do they mean just like protesting, or do they mean something more extreme?
To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Yeah, I saw that. It was kind of chilling. Kind of chilling. What do you guys think of that? Was this the first time you saw it? It's very stressful. Expect us. Yep. Yeah, so I'm going to cover some news, but I wanted to cover some more lighthearted kind of shit first. So we'll do that first.
Somewhere in the world today, men have got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. Stand up.
It's amazing.
Stand up.
It's amazing.
Stand up.
Johnny Wolf, I don't think it's a matter of, it's not cool anymore. It used to be cool. I don't really think that's the point. I think you're missing it a lot. We're not talking about trends here and whether or not something is cool. Jesus Christ. Okay. King Cobra got a new shirt. He wasn't wearing a shirt in his last several videos. So, yeah, here's King Cobra with his new shirt.
Glorious bastards. So look what I got from Ridiculous merch. I got my
Can't see it, Cobra. Can only see the bottom of it.
Terrence Pop t-shirts.
Oh, it's a Terrence
Winning.
Pop t-shirt.
And a lot of people are like, oh, Cobra, you shouldn't watch Terrence Pop. He's just a bitter, drunken divorcee and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Terrence Pop is helping men and preventing men from committing suicide. And how is it that we can have all these podcasts with women who are divorced and women who are sick of men's shit and nobody bats a fucking eye, but when Terrence Pop does it, it's toxic because that's the double standard that faces men. Beer me, it says. I want you to beer me. I've been wanting to buy a shirt from Terrence Pop, which is just some kind of merch to show my support. And I saw this t-shirt and I was like, yeah.
Johnny Wolf, are you trolling right now? Seriously? Like, they literally just said what they were going to do. They said that there's vulnerabilities in the framework of a lot of these organizations that Trump tore down and hastily built back up again. So I guess maybe it's all talk, but I guess we'll see if anything happens. But I don't think it's a matter of, oh, that was cool 10 years ago. I think you're missing the point quite a bit there. All right, here's Cobra's night video.
What's up, YouTube? Chilling like a rock star villain. I got 2 big ass things of Budweiser, and I think I've had them since this morning, so I've been sipping on it very slowly. After what happened the last couple of days with friends and family and people I care about, I've been hitting the booze kind of hard. 1 second.
Yeah. At least he's drinking Budweiser. Shabisky drinks that trash Bud Light.
That's not good for my fucking health. But that tastes so fucking bloody good.
I don't think relevancy matters when it comes to that sort of thing.
So Ozzy Osbourne has Parkinson's disease, unfortunately, and in the last couple of fucking days, Sharon came out and said that he can't walk anymore because of it. And Ozzy Osbourne's like one of my favorite rock stars, and so it's kind of bumming me out a little bit. But Ozzy seems in good spirits about it, despite everything, and I'm glad he's excited for his show in Birmingham. I hope he has the time of his life on his last performance. More importantly, I hope to find a cure for Parkinson's disease. Not only for Ozzy's sake, but for everyone who has it. If they can't find a cure for Parkinson's disease, then I hope the progression of Ozzy's doesn't happen super fast and he's able to enjoy life to what he can enjoy it for.
A 40 a Budweiser. Delicious. You can't post links in the chat. It's blocked, so if you're trying to post links, it's not going to work. So if you want someone to look something up, you'll just have to tell them where to find it. All right, here's King Cobra drink review.
YouTube, it's your boy King Cobra back at it with another drink review. Starbucks Paradise drink, the pineapple passion fruit with coconut milk. Shake it. Fuck sickos and fuck the trolls.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Hold on. Shit. Here. Sorry. I wasn't supposed to be, but nobody told me. It doesn't matter, though.
Got coconut milk in it. That's actually really fucking tasty. It's got a nice tropical taste to it.
His videos are very brief lately. Those are the 3 videos he put out lately. So, by the way, $180 away from the goal. If you guys would be so kind as to help me crush this goal today, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, now we're going to check out Jessica. Jessica is doing food reviews of her own.
Hello, welcome back to my channel for another food review. So obviously this is Walmart.
Great value mac and cheese.
Brand. Okay. $2.97, 10 ounces. Oh, wow, holy shit on the sodium. Anyways. So, $2.97. I could have sworn this was $1, but apparently I would be happy if it was like $1, $1.50, but preferably $1. So this
The days of shit costing $1, I believe, are long behind us.
this is my third time having this. The first time, I would say there was a lot more macaroni. It was like filled up to the brim. You know how you have to slit a hole in the the plastic when you cook. The macaroni was filled up to the brim. It was a light color though, and a slightly different. It tasted like a homemade something type of macaroni. It was absolutely banging 100%.
I am part of Anonymous, but only because I don't know how to spell my name. $170 away from the goal. Tip Train and Ben will visit Jessica.
Oh God, is that what's going on? Tip Train and I'll visit Jessica in Minecraft. Thank you so much. 170 of the way from the goal. I could really use the help right now. Thank you guys.
The other two, which the other two is one of these right here. My third one have had the same consistency. The first one was the only different one. I like all three, but I would say the first one had.
Oh damn, Master Sin! Always sneaking by me with your silent donos. Okay, so there we go. That's amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you guys. Thank you. You have no idea. I got pretty tipsy last night, but then I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't meet the goal. This sucks. This is, you have no idea how much this is helping. So thank you.
A different color. And while it was creamy, it had a different look to it. So I don't know what they did to the first one. I absolutely love the first one. This is so good.
Okay, are you going to eat it or are we just going to stare at the box? I thought she was going to actually make it and taste it and be like, this is good. I do like it. Or, ooh, I don't like this. It is bad. But she's not. She's just showing us the box. I don't understand. Can someone help me understand?
Never made a homemade macaroni that was good. I mean, you think it wouldn't be hard, but yeah. Anyways, I think it's absolutely amazing. I would give it a AAA+.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And yes, I've already.
Oh, well, why didn't you save that for the video if you're going to make a video about it?
Eaten.
A AAA+. That's like Michelin star rated mac and cheese, apparently.
So I was debating about recording a video, but
you did record a video. We're watching it.
Here I am doing it now.
What did I do?
Yeah, I don't know how I would describe the first one, but it did not look like this. The second one, same consistency, but they both taste good. I'm not complaining. I just wish it was more of the.
That was the end of the video. That's weird. Or no. Oh, there it is.
I just wish it was like $1.
Huh. There's problems with the video. It turned into like a Monet.
I've only made like 3 in my life, and they were all disgusting. So, but this is better than any frozen macaroni I've ever had. Out of
gotta try the Beecher's mac and cheese.
Any brand, I will say that much. So it's, in my opinion, it's really good. But I wish what the first one was, I wish they'd bring that consistency back.
Okay.
Now, but yeah, as long as they keep making these, I will buy them because it is delicioso.
Delicioso, you see? She's ethnic.
All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, everyone. Take care and see you later. Bye.
She sounds very unenthusiastic. She's like, all right, bye. Take care. See you later. All right, here's another one from Jessica.
All right, welcome back to another taste test review. I don't know if someone's messing with me or what, but someone bought these for me to review, and I've had them for probably at least a month. But one, I could have sworn they got me the creamy ricotta with lemon.
No, looks like herb cheese ravioli. Wheat spinach pasta with creamy ricotta and Italian herb filling is what it says on the bag.
I open them up. They're green. And yeah, now they look green to me on the package, but at the time, maybe I have bad eyes. I don't know.
Maybe you do.
But I swear every time I looked, it said lemon. I like spinach. I am not a fan of like wheat. What was that? Oh my God, that Cheetos macaroni. Ugh, that was so good.
Cheetos macaroni? Was that a thing? Oh, you know what? I think I have heard of that. Actually, I'm pretty sure I saw someone eat that. I was like, Cheetos macaroni, but now that I think about it, it did. There was like a Cheetos
Gross.
macaroni.
And then I got me a baguette with oops. Where's the front? Some of this. I don't know how this tastes.
Artichoke bruschetta.
And if this is gross, I'm just going to throw it away and make something else. And I definitely overcooked these because I had other things
What other things
going on, and so.
What else was going on?
But they didn't explode. That's all that matters. And then I put some Parmesan on top.
How is it, Jessica?
Okay.
She's like, okay.
It's not so bad.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad.
But I would have preferred the lemon ones. But it's not their fault. Like Mandela effect or so. I don't know.
Mandela effect. No, you were just wrong. It's called being wrong. It's not the Mandela effect.
It doesn't taste too weedy, maybe because of the spinach.
It doesn't taste too weedy. Okay.
Really sure. It's okay. I think I could eat it, although I'll probably
You are eating it.
For something else to eat. I don't know how much they are. Better Goods is expensive, and I know it's Walmart's brand, but come on. They're starting to get rid of other stuff they already carried in the store to put this brand in and charge you more money.
Yep.
Like, seriously, tell me why Walmart, before they came around, already has like 3 maraschino cherry options, and they're all Walmart brand, mind you. And they are different. You have to get the right one. But then they get one, and they want to charge $10. So you do have to be careful. But I think these are over $5. It's not bad. It could use a little bit more flavor, but it's not bad. Like, I would not throw it away.
That's one of her ratings. Would not throw away. I wouldn't throw it away or anything. Eat it, bitch.
I don't really care for the herb feeling. The ricotta is good, but I don't know. I feel like I would give it a D. And I know that sounds weird, even though I'm still going to eat all of it, to give it a D, but there's not that much flavor. And again, I was expecting to eat something else, not this. So
she should do like a third person view for these, not this first person. That's my first critique of how she does these videos.
it's like kind of. Manage your expectations.
Better than trash. Wouldn't throw it away.
All right. Let's see if this is good.
Yeah, you said that already. Does she have a Band-Aid on her arm?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That needs some flavor to it. I mean, you can't expect much from something in a jar, but I think I'll eat all the ravioli. I'm not so sure about the bread. And it looked really good too, but it needs something added to it. But anyways, yeah, I would give this a C or a D. I know the rating might seem a little weird, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, as far as it being durum wheat and stuff, can't really taste that.
She's very concerned about the wheat.
Because yeah, compared to that Cheeto macaroni, that would...
Please like the stream, everybody. And we're $150 away from the goal. 150 away from the goal. That's easy. We can do that. We got it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
It's just straight trash from the pasta alone. The pasta. So, yeah, I can't wait to try the other ones. I'm sure they'll be a lot better. But yeah, it's just not what I was expecting, so... Yeah, I don't know if someone's playing tricks on me or what, but I swear...
No, nobody's playing tricks on you. You were just incorrect. It's a very human thing to be incorrect. It doesn't require some weird, temporal phenomenon where time and space shifts and you cross into a new reality in the multiverse. That did not happen. You just thought this was one kind of thing and you were wrong.
Where it said lemon.
Nope.
Every time I looked at it, so it is
you're dumb.
what it is.
It is what it is, but I digress.
But yeah, their products are a little too expensive for me, so I'm not sure how I feel about them, to be honest. So, alright. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I'll be back with something else another time. Alright, bye.
Taco Bell's chicken dip taste test review. All right.
Back with another taste test video.
Ron.
So this time the dip chicken burritos from Taco Bell. I did not do a review on the chicken nuggets. I did try them though. I think they would have been good if mine weren't burnt. They had a very familiar taste. I could not pinpoint it, but mine were burnt, so I couldn't really eat them. But yeah, I did not do a video on that. So yeah, I got the chicken, got me a Cinnabon coffee, which apparently they did
What, you got those like cinnamon twist things?
not want to make. Go figure, but they made it. Anyway, some cinnamon twist. And I think these are two different sauces, but I really am not sure. I wanted a jalapeno sauce, and I don't know what color that is. One looks more spicy than the other, but I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But anyways. And I think they're $4.99. For two of them, obviously. right.
How is it, Jessica? How is it, Jessica? Wendy's has horsey sauce? I thought that was Arby's.
I don't know. Ain't nothing to write home about. Like, I don't know what's supposed to be so different about this.
Did she say what drink that is? Because it looks almost like an iced coffee. It's a weird color.
I mean, it's not bad for what it is. But, yeah, I don't know. It's like they keep coming out with all this new stuff when they should probably just focus on stuff they've carried in the past that people want back. And, yeah. It's supposed to have jalapeno sauce on it. I don't know if this is spicy or that, but whew. It's good for what it is. But yeah, I don't see what's so different about it. I wouldn't go run and get it again.
She's very unenthusiastic about everything she eats. She's never like, well, I guess the mac and cheese, she liked that a lot. I was kind of surprised. But now she's like, yeah, I guess it's okay. Like, I wouldn't eat it again, but she was quite enthusiastic about the other stuff.
Do miss is those little chicken taco things they had. Ooh, excuse me. I don't remember what they were called, but whew. Okay, my mouth is on fire. It's delicious, don't get me wrong, but whew.
She can't handle the spice.
Okay. Yeah, nothing to write home about. It's just a typical burrito type thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't get it again. I would not try the steak. It's just, yeah. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Good night.
All right. Thanks for watching. All right. Now we're going to essentially learn about Sturgis, bud.
Essentially,
yeah, it was delicious, but I'll never try it again.
Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero. We are back again talking about
the fats, bud. You're one of the fats, Sturge.
Losers. Talking about absolute losers, detractors,
talk about
of course,
losers,
of the Ripperverse, because
bud.
anybody who has anything nice to say about the Ripperverse always has to have something to say. And it's always weird that when you're out having fun,
you're a weirdo, bud.
You're out, coming off of MegaCon, because that's what this video really is. It's me coming off of MegaCon, having a blast, hanging out with people from the Ripperverse like Eric July, the Saska Sisters, Carol Brown, Carl Lynn, the Geeks and Gamers crew, people like Cobra.
The Saska Sisters, bud.
Unfortunately, Gary from Neurotica will be there. Sorry to hear about the passing in the family, my friend. Hopefully next year you'll be able to be there. But it seems to me no matter what you do online, which is why people like Eric have stepped away from even talking to detractors or talking to people who want to just simply hate just for hating's sake. It's like no matter what you do, they're never going to accept that you're just living your life. And it's hilarious how much people want to talk and claim that, oh, you're not having fun, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that. Meanwhile, dudes are faceless. All these guys are anonymous, faceless accounts. And they think...
Not all.
Think you're gonna sit here and just you're
just sitting there. He does the sitting there thing a lot. You're just sitting there. We're just sitting there. We're sitting there. You're just sitting there. You're sitting there. You're sitting there. We got $150 until we hit the goal. Thank you guys in advance. Please help me. Please help me reach the goal. It just takes a little bit here and there, and it'll add up. I'm streaming to meet the goal right now. Thank you guys.
I'm not going to go back and forth with you for that long. We're going to see how far it goes, and you'll notice that, again, it don't really matter. They're a bunch of faceless weirdos.
Not
who
all.
Get no ass. Who sit on Twitter.
Oh, he always does the like, oh, they never get laid. What? How do you know? Do you follow them around?
All day and spurg about a black man making comic books, because that's really what it's all about.
A black man.
And it's always funny that they like to say, oh, you always bring up race. It's like your Frog Daddy was the first one to brought up race, still continues to bring up
So if it's bad when he does it, how does that make it okay when you do it?
Race, and still continues to go after anybody and anything that has to do with the Ripperverse.
Shabisky donates his time.
So let's just get started here with the Yara number 2 pre-order.
Shabisky donates his time by coming on the show, bud.
Collection, 8 days to go, 8,385 books. This will definitely hit a 10K book sold campaign, 288,000 in total sales. We also have the Great War of Separation at 132,000 total sales. You had another 6-figure campaign for the Ripperverse, 5,470 total books sold. We also had VK.
Shabisky, go sell your ass a little bit so you can donate to the goal, bud. Go lick Shanny's folds for money.
Chapter 1, hitting.
I donated my liver last night. There was all kinds of liver donating last night.
6,164. Congratulations, my friend Mugen Lord, for a great success.
Sturgis claims he's not white also. He claims he's both. I mean, he might have Puerto Rican ancestry, like he's half, I believe. Like his mom is Puerto Rican. And his dad was a white guy. He looks white. To me, I'd be like, that's a white guy. You know, like you can be white and Puerto Rican, by the way. Puerto Rican is a nationality. There's all sorts of people that are born in Puerto Rico.
And I'm looking forward to reading this book and seeing the rest of the universe unfold as you continue to create more stories and put out the stories on all the amazing characters that you seem to have created. 170 backers 3 days ago. Let's do it. We also have our good friend Bond Coleman with Phenomenova issue 2 Down to the Core, sitting at 5,617 US dollars.
I was born in the projects. I'm Puerto Rican, bud.
154 backers with only 22 days left to go. Again, this is a smaller book from the first Phenomenova, which was a fantastic book. I highly recommend.
Sturgis, you need to switch to extra large shirts, bud. You're chubby. I'm chubby too, but I know when I'm wearing. I know like what size shirt to wear. It looks goofy as fuck when you wear a shirt that's too tight and you can see your jiggly belly poking out of it. Right here. Like Eric July has the self-awareness to know he shouldn't wear a tight shirt. That shirt fits him perfectly. But look at your shirt. You probably bought that shirt and you're like, yeah, I wear a large. You're incapable of realizing that, you know, when you get fatter, you need to get a larger shirt size. You're stuck on this idea that you wear a large. I remember you saying that you wear a large in one of your videos. And what's up with all the hair gel, bud?
Video as well as all my other socials and any way you want to support.
Oh yeah, Tree Fitty. Thank you, Space Suicide. I appreciate it. We're getting closer. It's incremental. I think, you know, put in a couple hours here. I think we can do this. 350 is great. It adds up.
Support me, you can. It's all listed down below. So, as I say in this tweet here, I say such an awesome day at MegaCon meeting the Ripperverse team once again. All of them are awesome individuals. Shout out to the Twisted Twins for all the hugs and signing all my merch. Shout out to Eric July for setting up an awesome booth for the fans and being a humble dude and appreciative of the fans. And it's hilarious how using the word humble is apparently a terrible thing.
I remember one time somebody thought that this was like a shirt. Someone like saw my arms and assumed I was wearing like a like a spandex shirt. I'm like, no, that's my skin. It's pretty vibrant colors, and it's like a 9-year-old tattoo. The type of ink they used is it sets in really well. Yeah, I mean, everyone has the right to choose what they want their tattoo to be, but I don't get it when people want an all-black tattoo where it's just like monochromatic colors. I think color looks so much better.
And I guess it's a psyop, according to weirdos, that me, Bruce, and the Thickening, I think that's his Twitter name. Apparently, because we all use the word humble, it's a psyop. I picked up some great merch, including cover A of The Horseman, as well as the art of Will Conrad, and got my Ripper Scenes and Creators edition of Ice on #1 signed as well. Ripperlorian, which is Cara Brown. We missed out on getting a picture together. Maybe next time.
You need to start eating some Shanny ass, Shabisky. You need to lower yourself and do what she commands of you. You need to stick your face in between those voluptuous ass cheeks of Shanny's and give her a tongue tornado, Shabisky. By the way, if you're pale, then color tattoos are better. Like, it's darker skinned people, the color doesn't show as well. If you're really pale, like ginger levels of pale, the tattoo color, the color ink shows way better. You know, it's like the difference of like coloring on a white piece of paper or coloring on a black piece of paper. You know, it's the lighter skin tone, the more the color is going to pop.
You know, Carolyn, awesome human being, holding down the booth. And of course, Brandon and Andrew were there as well. Drunk 3PO with his Rippercent books, Acromat Chronicles Blue and Acromat Chronicles Green, which I guess is issue 1. Awesome to see, of course,
Sturgis reads Twitter.
Cobra, this is Jeremy, Ronan the Crusader, and Vagabundo. Can't wait to do it next year. And of course, I posted pictures.
You think he's got hobbit feet? Dude, he's got to be like 5'6". He's got to be about 5'6", I'm thinking. How tall is Eric July? Eric July is like 5'9" or something, right? Eric July's height is out there because he was a college athlete, and so like his stats, his height and weight when he was competing as a track runner, are still out there. And I know Gina Carano's height is out there because from her UFC days. Let's see. Eric July height. Let's see. It says he's 5'10". And there's quite a height difference. Like Eric's eyes are at the level of the top of Sturge's head. And they're standing next to each other. I don't think this is a perspective thing. They seem to be standing right next to each other. So it's not like, oh, well, Eric is a little bit closer, therefore he looks a little taller. But yeah, looks like, Eric July was a track runner. I just found his like profile online. He's 5'10". I'd take Sturgis on in the octagon. Let's make it happen.
Pictures of myself with the Saskas and Eric and of course my merchant.
Yeah, Sturge, I went over this recently, but your one finger was dangerously close to copping a feel, like some side boob action here. I remember when that one pastor tried to do this to Ariana Grande. Do you guys remember that? There was like this pastor and Ariana Grande was like at this church service and he was like putting his arm around her and you could see his like fingers like touching her side boob. I think Sturgis is trying to touch some side boob here. When we would have DP meetups, I would do the hover hand method. Like my hand is not actually touching you, it's next to you. But Sturge is definitely touching some side boob here. He might be over here too. She's moving, her hand looks all blurry. But definitely on this one over here, he's touching some side boob. Bud.
Nice, which is, I got some stuff from Coleco, Sigma Comics, my Ripazines, ISOM #1 Creators Edition. I've also got Sakisha Ray to sign
he can hold quarters in his belly.
Cover for Nominova issue #1, and of course the Art of Will Conrad. And I got the Horseman Welcome to Flores Park to
Horseman
complete my Kane White
Horseman
set, because Kane White is an excellent artist and all his covers are awesome, which I got the Kane White covers of Bloodroof 1, Great War Separation, and Yara 2 coming up next. But of course, with great clout comes not so great detracting losers. And I said no clout for losers.
With great clout comes detractor losers.
Pictures that are not them. We already know what our fans are.
We're $146 away from the goal. Every little bit helps. Please use the link pinned in the top of the chat. Help us get a little closer. Thank you.
Fat, overweight, out of shape, washed up comic pro from New Jersey. The guy who sells mostly 3XL and 4XL. Not to say that, again, I don't have fans that are, buy shirt sizes of that, but it's like these are the shirt sizes that mostly are selling with said one frogman. Let me know when I should care about their opinions when I'm having fun. Hail the Ripperverse. And of course it just went on and on. Like I said before, these weirdos do nothing but hate no matter how much you ignore them. I stay winning as per usual, living rent free in all of their heads. Even as I went to places like Japan, New York, and Vegas, all these guys do is cry about me. That one dude crying about me reviewing a comic book by Tyler Carpenter. It's a great comic book, by the way, called Bullet Assassin Living in a Fantasy World. Again, links will be down below in the description, but apparently because you read a book with beautiful women in it, it's a terrible thing.
You're a gooner.
You can see one of them being, Tism Spencer, of course. It's like I could be anywhere on vacation in Japan. Yes, this has to be made for me at some point, because this was made for Air July. This meme is hilarious. A shill, dude. A shill is someone who gets paid to say something is good even though they know it's bad. In their opinion, they actually believe it's bad. Of course, you got ratioed because you're a loser and all you do is talk crap. Calling someone a PDF file who are not a PDF.
Yeah, ignoring them is making a video about how butthurt you are. That's true.
File because you saw a promotional picture for a horror.
I wonder what Sturgis did in Japan. So he went to Japan. What was he doing there?
Film is hilarious. I don't understand why these guys don't understand how horror films work. Typically, it's that's the type of marketing they get. It's like they've never experienced a horror film in their entire life before. Like when there was an Alien movie coming out, and they had Alien on their face in New York City, around New York City. That's how they did the promotion for that Alien movie that came out. It's
face huggers.
It's like these guys don't understand how marketing works. It must have been marketed
You're a weirdo, bud.
So well that you actually thought it was real. And again, guys use words that they don't understand the definition of, which is hilarious. Of course, we have these clowns like Slappy McSlapster, just look how mad I've made this guy. It's like, you didn't make anybody mad. Nobody's mad, bro. You're the only one.
I love the you're mad. No, you're mad. The arguing about who's mad. Especially over the internet when you can't see the other person. There's no way you could tell if they're mad or not. That's just how you hand yourself a win by doing that. Yeah, I won because they got mad.
Mad, and you're spurging out constantly. You've been spurging out for days now. You spurg out about me all the time. For the most part, I just ignore you, but it's hilarious you decided to spurg out because I posted a picture of myself. Again, you are a faceless clown who follows and worships a fat, overweight, out of shape individual from New Jersey who makes trash.
You're from New Jersey, Sturgis?
Comics, because Cyberfrog 2 is dog water. I've read it. It's trash. That's why he had to rewrite it, because it was so bad. I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but I hear he's quite legendary. You big mad commented on a post. You're not tagged in. You must be one of those people who wear 4XL shirts. Hail the Ripperverse, man. This is what no does to a man. You continue to spurg out over anything you can. Pretty funny when you call other people fat and we all got to see you wearing your little sister's t-shirt and backpack.
It's true. Sturgis, you are fat, dude. You are. Just admit it. You are fat. You are. You are fat, sir.
Bro, what is with these guys always talking about children?
Oh, God. You see where he just went? Oh, yeah. He won't address the actual comment. He's trying to turn it into some kind of PDF file thing.
Massive projection. My dude, if you wear a bigger shirt than you're supposed to, you look stupid.
You're wearing a smaller shirt than you're supposed to, and you look stupid. Look at this. Look how it, like, turns into almost an apron below your gut. You have it all stretched out. Your titties and your belly are stretching out the shirt. It's supposed to fit like it does around your pelvic area. And what about Eric? Eric's wearing a shirt that's too large. Well, it's large and it's kind of baggy, but it looks good because it fits him. Look at you, you fucking goof. Yeah, he's the new Segmento. Dr. Segmento. And Eric July's all like, yeah, this guy gives me a bunch of money. And Sturge's like, he's my friend.
You're wearing baggy clothes. Most people who do that are stupid. There are people.
Most people that wear baggy clothes are stupid. I mean, it's just fashion. Baggy clothes is actually more trendy now. People, I see like teenagers wearing like baggy jeans and shit like that, that I would like baggy shit that I would have worn when I was in high school, because it's trends repeat themselves. I remember, 10 years ago, it was skinny jeans. Everyone was wearing skinny jeans and shit. And now we're back to baggy jeans. And by the way, this is a somewhat baggy shirt that Eric has on. So how can Sturges explain that? Some people still wear skinny jeans, but it's not as trendy as it used to be. People are wearing baggy jeans. Like normally when it comes to fashion, it's like older teenagers / younger adults that kind of decide what's trendy. And these days they're wearing like super baggy jeans, almost like Jenko level baggy jeans.
That wear baggy clothes for a reason, because maybe they want more warmth, I guess, but it's like when you wear a shirt that's bigger than your actual size, you just look stupid. You look sloppy for the most part.
So Eric looked sloppy in that picture he took with you.
I'm like, I wear a large and your true identity is a rabid dog, just like real life. Better watch out for Katie did. She might try to F you.
Katie did dogs.
Dude,
What the fuck was that?
that shirt was 2 sizes too small. Bro, there's no way on planet Earth I would need a 2XL. Because that's what you're saying. Or more. You are literally stupid. And again, more faceless individuals are trying to justify or judge somebody else's weight. Why should I take you seriously? You're not owning me by zooming in on a picture of me.
Why is your one eye? Dude, that shirt was at least 2 sizes too small. You're just a short little fat boy thinking the saying sexual things about women is cool. Even funnier is commenting on my rat terrier's smile when yours looks like this. They make these things called toothbrushes. Look into that. Okay.
Congratulations, you got 7 likes. I got 9 likes.
See, he always does this. Oh, well, I got more likes than you, therefore what you say is wrong and what I say is right. Imagine living life like that, where like the amount of likes you get. Like online engagement decides who's right and who's wrong.
You're getting no clout off this at all. You're a loser, bro.
Clout, that's another thing that Sturgis cares about a lot.
Just like the rest of them. You worship literally a fat, overweight, out-of-shape individual from New Jersey who makes crappy frog comics.
Are you from New Jersey?
You
make frog comics?
Stay mad at me having fun, loser. You worship a fat, overweight, and out-of-shape individual who smokes crack and licks urinals. So it's like...
They're doing crack! I'm nobody.
Come on now.
Oh, he has drops now, I see.
Used to be somebody, but I'm nobody now.
The Ripperverse stays being awesome. By the way, y'all do know I like other comics that are not the Ripperverse. Interesting how they only attack that. Because again, I even showed you VK Chapter 1 and Phenomenova. It's like, bro, the Ripperverse comics aren't the only comics that exist. They're not the only comics that exist. It's the only comics you pay attention to because they live so rent-free in your head. And I live so rent-free in your head. I'm the only thing you can talk about. It's like, bro, I don't swing that way. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't swing that way. Your homoerotic fantasies will never be fulfilled. He's saying I'm big mad. I'm like, quote-unquote big mad. The guy is spurring.
I'm mad. No, you're mad.
Over a Sturgis person. 1, 2, 3. It's like, bro, you continue to spurg all day, every day. You're still spurging now as I'm making this video. Still spurging in line. Gotta love the easy content, but again, quote unquote, big mad. USAID trans comics. Do you know where this started from? Let me explain to you where this started from. This started from, again, the fat, overweight, out-of-shape New Jersey guy claims that Cliff Richards was part of a comic book, did artwork for a comic book that was funded by the USAID that pushed trans ideology. Because once again, all these guys do is listen to the fat, overweight, out-of-shape Jerseyan.
You a weirdo, bud.
Who makes crappy frog comics, bro. This is how I know you have no brain cells to rub together when the only thing you listen to is that individual. Because that guy has a bias towards the black man making comics, the rookie in comics, who outdid him in everything he's ever worked for in his entire life. He's one of those people who believes that he doesn't deserve his success. And you're sitting here spurging out at tweets that aren't even towards you. And the supposed gay medieval game that's optional because of course you're projecting your homosexuality onto me, as you clowns usually do. You always project your homosexuality onto me, is hilarious.
I think they're saying shit to you and it's making you feel some feelings that you're unproud of.
Guy, it's literally all you're doing. Spurging out like crazy, bro. You're just constantly spurging out. Then you have this loser,
Sturgis Spurges,
again, who claims someone else is 250 pounds, even though the moist back was the one that's actually 250 pounds.
The moist back, you see that? He accuses other people of being racist, but he has a coded way of saying slurs against Mexicans.
And bro,
can't make this up.
Jacket literally doesn't fit you. If you want to talk about anybody not being able to fit anything, and I'm like, never in my life have I been as big as you or the moist back frog. You couldn't even bench press 180 unless you divided it by 2. You could barely lift Vito's fat up. This man talking about he could bench 180, bro. You're 240 pounds. You could not bench 180. I'm sorry, that's factually incorrect. And I've benched 220. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, all right.
Oh, here, exactly. You got Tism Spencer be like, because you're fat and you're a hypocrite. No, I don't care. See, the thing is...
I don't care. You know the point you made that made me look stupid? Well, I don't care about that. Checkmate. I don't care. That's another shit argument.
You guys say I'm fat all the time. I don't care. You guys spurg out when I do it to you. That's why I continue to do it. Maybe if you stop being an utter all the time, you wouldn't hear me say it all the time. But that's all you guys know how to do is all the time, bro. You're deflecting. Lastly, Eric July hates people like you. Far, his words by the way, wrong. Because again, you are one of the biggest pocket watching on the internet of Eric July, and you still don't understand this. This is the problem I have with detractors. The fact that they continue to lie all the time, bro.
I hear a dog in a lot of his videos now, so I'm like, whose dog is it?
I didn't realize Eric's audience was that obsessed with a few people in electric chairs because they're so fat. Again, do you not know what you look like, bro? You're going to get put in the thumbnail, and people are going to see what you look like, for real. You are fat as f***. Your face is fat as f***. And you've been...
Your face is fat too, you just cover it with a long beard.
Been playing Sailor Moon fighting games for over a decade because you're a pansexual weirdo. Bro, you are a pansexual weirdo by your own admission. Do some cardio and lose the gut and man boobs. My guy, man boobs don't stay up. They sag.
What? What are you talking about? Are you trying to say that these are muscle? Oh yeah, this is muscle, bud. That's what they are. Because they don't sag, so It's such bullshit. He's in such denial. It's crazy. He thinks he's in good shape.
Bro, do you not know what that is? Of course you don't. You've never seen the inside of a gym in your entire life, looking at how fat your face is, bro. The last time you tried to make fun of me, you tried to say I had thinning hair, and I'm like, at least I have hair. Bald f***. You're like 45 years old with no hair, bro. When I'm 45, I will still have hair. You
Famous last words. I think he's like 31 or something. Famous last words from Sturgis. Let's see what he looks like in 15 years.
will not. And I'm like, you couldn't lift more than me if you tried. You have a fat face, so how are you judging me? The difference is, I don't care if someone calls me fat. Y'all get a
I don't care. No, here's the thing, Sturgis. You call everyone else fat like it's an argument. Like you're like, oh, you're fat, therefore you're wrong. But then you're fat. So it doesn't matter if you care or not. You're a hypocrite.
Offended because you're thin-skinned. I'm not. I'm not afraid to show how I look. Learn the difference between a developed chest and man boobs.
A developed chest. What does he mean? Like he finished puberty and he's got his titties now? Like he had his training bra on and now he's moved up to like a full-fledged like boob bra? Developed chest is a weird term. Yeah, I would like to see Sturgis. See, I'll say this and he'll be like, "Oh, you're gay for me, bud." But I just want, like, what does Sturgis look with his shirt off? Does he look all ripped?
Man boob sag, my chest doesn't. I'm Puerto Rican, by the way. Now
here it is.
Pay attention, this is very important for the next tweet. Eric July only hates white, fat, overweight, and out of shape individuals who hate him for no reason.
Okay. I mean, what if they have a good reason?
Which is what it usually is. And it always ends up being true that majority of his haters are that exact description. It's called pattern recognition. You've never...
But you're that thing, only you're not his hater. Puerto Rican.
Been correct one time. You are the same individual that said Eric July is the hardest version of the N-word. You're the same guy who said Yaira was barely going to make $1 million and made $1 million in 11 hours, faster than ISOM #1. You're the same guy who's saying this dumbass. He's like, I may look white, but Eric is only racist towards actual whiteys. Again, you're just further showing how much of a racist you are, and of course this guy is also racist, because you know what this is?
The whitest type of Mexican you can be.
It's called? It's called you're judging what somebody's race is by looking at them.
Okay. That's usually how it works.
It's called being racist. You're judging a person's race based on what they look like. That's called being racist.
No, it's not. What? No. Being racist is hating someone or feeling superior to someone based on their race. Not looking at someone and judging what race they are. What? So, like, if I see a guy and he has very dark skin and he looks like he's of African descent, and I'm like, oh, that's a black guy, that's racist? Is that how that works?
Because you don't actually know what Puerto Ricans look like, apparently. I'm like, low IQ...
You don't look like a lot of Puerto Ricans.
Individuals literally can't read. The public education system failed you. It must have been all that...
Hold on, though. You always bring up how Eric July is the black man. You've literally, like, called him the black man. So that means you're racist.
Time spent playing Sailor Moon fighting games. He stopped at Eric only hates white and forgot the rest of the statement. And here's the statement. I'm Puerto Rican, by the way. Eric July only hates white, fat, overweight, and out of shape individuals who hate him for no reason.
Individual.
Outside of just existing. He just exists, bro. These guys get so angry that this man is so successful, making millions of dollars, having a successful marriage, having a successful business, having a successful YouTube channel, having a...
I don't care.
Successful music career.
I don't care, Sturgis. I win because I don't care about what you're talking about.
But they can't stand it because they don't have any of those things. And then they get so mad. This is, again, the same guy who goes, you're not making anything on YouTube. Oh, you're making this much. Well, no, you're not really making enough. It's like, pick a goalpost you want to have and
you do this all the time. You shift goalposts all the time. Like, someone makes a good comment towards you and makes you look dumb, and you won't even respond to it. You'll talk about like how many likes your post got instead, and that's why what they said doesn't matter, because you got more likes.
Stick with it. Don't flip-flop around because you're wrong. But the biggest banger of all time that this guy thought he had,
look at those fat dorks.
The moist back himself said, look at those fat dorks. Renown Zero will be coping over his belly rolls for weeks. Bro.
Is he about to say that this is not a fat belly?
You the only motherfucker out here that has belly rolls.
No, you have belly rolls, objectively. We wouldn't be able to tell quite as much if you wore shirts that fit.
This is you, my guy. This is you. Your barber your hairline up, and you have neck rolls, my guy. You have multiple neck rolls. So for anybody to be talking about rolls, my guy.
Let's see your neck. Shave that beard off. Let's see what it looks like.
Guy, your belly rolls.
Yes, Sturgis has reverse body dysmorphia. Jared has the same thing. Jared's like that too. Where he looks in the mirror and he's all jacked and like chiseled and he's a bodybuilder. That's what Sturgis has too. It's a thing. It's kind of like how like there's people who think they can sing really good, but they're completely tone deaf. Like when they would have American Idol auditions and they'd show all the people who were like really bad at singing, but they thought they were amazing singers. It's like Ruby Jules. If anyone remembers Ruby Jules, Ruby Jules is a guy, this crazy fucker that was part of the DP community for a long time, and he was part of Actual Mania and all that. And he thought he was a good singer, but he's a fucking abysmal singer.
Off the top of your body. Holy. And then you got clowned on by Kata just about a week ago, trying to lie about somebody, bro. Trying to lie on him and put words in his mouth. Live on stream. You got BTFO'd extremely hard. I was like, he thought he had a banger tweet. LMFAO. 250-pound guy is missing his front teeth and clowned on by a went AWOL for months after showing his face. Claims he did something. Got BTFO'd by Kata trying to lie. You are the fat dork. Hail the Ripperverse. Because you really thought you had a banger tweet with this. 4 likes in 13 minutes, my guy. I literally took the screenshot and got more likes than you. Because nobody cares. You talk so much and you're a clown with a dead channel. What are we...
Yep, there it is. The engagement, the views, the dead channel. Why does that make you right or wrong? I don't understand.
I haven't talked about you in 2 months, and you're still going on about me to this day. But you ran away and went AWOL on your YouTube channel after you went on The Biggest Problem in the Universe, and the chat absolutely clowned you for how massive you are. Your fat rolls from your neck down to your belly, bro. You want to talk about anybody being fat? Bro, get on the treadmill, my guy, because you ain't special. Trying to call other people fat dorks, my guy. You are the
That's what you do!
definition of a fat dork, my guy. You trying to compare me to you? Bro, touch grass and touch of my guy. Touch a woman. Holy. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that I've had going on. It's hilarious that I can report on it and give you guys some entertainment on my YouTube channel. I appreciate y'all for being here. Smash the like button if you liked the video. Comment below how you feel about this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video.
You a weirdo, bud.
On the channel. You can become a member, of course, for just $1 a month. There's a join button down below the video. You get access to exclusive members only content as well as live stream emojis every time I go live. Usually it's Monday and Wednesdays, but I'm trying to keep a schedule with it, so bear in mind that. But again, if you can't spend the buck, that's okay too. I appreciate you for watching the videos and jumping in on live streams, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, here's a Ruby Jules song. I won't play the whole thing. I just want you guys to hear it. He plays a pan flute in this. It's off key. It's like circus music from my nightmares. Unironically thinks he's an amazing singer. Fly to the Barbras.
Just when you recognize the spectrum, there's no more living in shame.
It's Ruby Jewels.
Jules, you are gonna go down. Is you is or is you ain't a bother?
Is you is or is you ain't a boglum? Oh, he's wearing one of those like masks they wore during the plague in Venice and shit. Weird Venetian plague mask. Is you is or is you ain't a boglum? All right. What is this?
USAID is clearly in the job of trying to bring about regime change. It has secret bank accounts, shell companies.
USAID gets $50 billion to one in which
these are the problem is people like
pagers
not income. Presidential tool wasting
The few.
Oh God.
billions.
Yeah, by the way, if you pull up Google Maps right now and look at the Gulf of Mexico and you're in the United States currently, it says Gulf of America right now.
Perhaps in the process. President Trump was unrepentant about the policy when quizzed by journalists this weekend on his way to the Super Bowl.
The ones that have been, the few that have been legitimate in terms of getting legitimate money will probably put it through the State Department. It'll be handled by Marco Rubio, highly respected man, Secretary of State.
That's funny because Rubio and Trump hated each other 8 years ago. And they made like small dick jokes about each other.
There's no reason for USAID when you look at the politicians that have been in there sucking the blood out of it. When you look at all of the fake deals. I mean, look, all you have to do is get a list of all of the things you can see by the heading. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's probably kickbacks.
There has, however, been a bit of criticism of
It's funny because Piers Morgan used to have quite a few like liberal left-wing views on things, and he's thrown them all out the window because he's kissing Trump's ring. A lot of people are, especially media figures. I think they're afraid of being sued.
About the policy. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton is among those arguing it will undermine vital US alliances in an ever more dangerous world. We'll hear more from him later. The Harvard mathematician and podcast superstar Dr. Eric Weinstein, however, Eric Weinstein, the bicycles in work being...
I want the panel.
Caffeine.
I'm going to skip ahead to the panel.
AID administrator
Alliance
middle girls.
Wow,
get
okay, I'm
education.
going to skip ahead.
And she said the winning data
where it was situation Nazis, they do.
We, for example,
Oh God, Michael
they
Bolton.
include the Pope, whose envoy called the measures
not
reckless
Michael Bolton.
and unhuman on humanitarian grounds. Others,
What is his name? Something John Bolton, right? Not Michael Bolton, obviously. That's a
the
singer.
former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton, say
John
weakens
Bolton.
U.S. foreign policy. And Ambassador Bolton joins me now. Ambassador, great to have you back on
He
Uncensored.
looks like Mark Twain to me. I always think it's like, oh, it's Mark Twain.
Nice to see you. Why are you so opposed to this?
Because I think properly directed, USAID and a bilateral foreign assistance program can enhance American national security. It's throughout history, begin with reading Caesar's commentaries about how he used economic means in the conquest of Gaul. There is a lot to criticize about AID. There's no doubt about it. But the approach that the administration is taking reminds me of that Army briefing officer in Vietnam who said we had to destroy that village in order to save it. And I might say I've got some personal experience here. I was in charge of policy and budget at USAID during the Reagan administration when we undertook a major effort to fix it. And I'm going to show you my farewell present from AID. You can see it's a hand grenade, and it says on it, John R. Bolton, truest Reaganaut. AID 1983. This is a style of government, and that's the way
the
we
hand grenade style of government
approached it.
Well,
So
hang on, John. If you don't mind me saying, I mean, giving you a grenade as a leaving president, people could say that was sending another message altogether.
Well, it was a style of government. We felt that AID needed to be shaken up, and I'm sure it needs to be shaken up today. But when you destroy it, you're eliminating an important instrument that we need. If you want to cut the budget and redirect it, that's fine. What I would do would be to eliminate all American contributions to the World Bank and the multilateral development banks, and much of the contributions we make to the UN system.
Yeah, Ruby Jules, he's a member of Trump's cabinet.
U.S.
He's the Secretary of Boglums.
Benefits.
Secretary of Boglum Affairs.
The direct bilateral provision of foreign aid, much, much more than to these multilateral institutions. We get no credit for what they do, despite our paying 25% roughly of their budgets. We get the credit or we get the blame when we do it directly through our own bilateral program.
The problem is, though, that when you have a list of things which have been given money from this program, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $1.5 million to advance
By the way, just quick reminder, we're $146.50 away from the goal. If someone wants to help out, that would be much appreciated.
EI and
like a 102 would be
Serbian
unbelievable right now.
$20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street and so on. When Americans hear that, they understandably go nuts, particularly when cost of living is at such a ruinous and ravaging level at the moment in America.
The cost of living is going up because of the threats on tariffs that we've been dealing with.
People can't even afford to buy eggs. And I think the problem is the optics of this.
I thought Trump was going to fix that. He's been president for like a month now. Little less than a month. Why hasn't the prices come down? He said he could do it.
Awful. In that there's clearly been
let's talk about reality, though. Let's not talk about optics. I would agree completely. I'd go nuts over every single thing you mentioned. But if providing $1.5 billion to Egypt, for example, helped enforce the Camp David Peace Accord of 1979, was that not something that benefited the United States? There's no doubt, particularly in the recent Biden and Obama administrations, we've seen a division within the American body politic over what the bilateral aid program is for. Conservative Republicans generally believe it's to advance American foreign policy interests. Liberal Democrats think...
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to rename parts of the map. He's very focused on that right now. He can't fix the prices of things like he said he would.
It's to be a welfare agency to the world. That's the wrong approach. But having the instrument is critical, and it derives over a long period of time. Some people now talk about turning AID over to the State Department. That's certainly an option. But anybody who thinks turning it over to state will solve all the problems needs to think again.
Donald Trump said about it is absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. I mean, can you say emphatically that's not happening, or is a lot of this stuff dressed up in a way that actually hides the reality, which is just America wanting to scratch the back of a country for a particular reason?
Well, I think scratching the back of a country that benefits the United States makes some sense. I think that those kinds of comments by Trump show he doesn't understand what he's doing. With Trump, it's all one direction. The idea of a complex situation doesn't occur to him. I don't have any doubt, as I didn't in the time I was at AID in 1981 to 83, major reforms were necessary. And I'm sure they're necessary now. But once the reforms are made or at least underway, you need a vehicle to provide this kind of assistance to regimes that we need on our side around the world. This was a lesson one would have thought people learned during the Marshall Plan. We weren't providing economic assistance to Europe because we were nice people, although we are. We were providing it to get their economies back on the feet, to buy products from the United States. When Dean Acheson, the Secretary of State, wanted to sell the Marshall Plan, he went to the Delta Council in Mississippi to speak to a bunch of redneck Southern farmers who grew cotton. Why would he defend foreign aid to them? so that they would get cut and they could send to Europe to make a lot of money off of, which they did.
I mean, when you were working there, how much of the money in reality was just being used as a tool to destabilize foreign governments?
Unfortunately, almost none of it. I would have been happy to use some of it to destabilize some of the governments that were faced around the world. That was handled more by the clandestine side of the CIA. What we were trying to do was help governments that we felt we had an interest in. Now, I don't think we had perfected that by any stretch of the imagination, and there are reasonable people who can disagree about the country levels. You'll notice in this entire 3 weeks of debate, nobody's talked about, is the allocation to country X high enough or is it too high? They just talk about, the DEI programs, which are small amounts of money. The real budget allocation question is, are we spending enough in support of the governments that we need support from?
Should it just not be just completely transparent? In other words, give it all to the State Department and say, right, here's a list of all the investments we're going to be making into all these countries, and here's the real reason why. And we're no longer going to be financing any of these absurd things like Iraqi Sesame Street. We're just going to say we're going to give Iraq 20 million, and here's why, and be judged accordingly. But at least it's transparent.
Yeah, look, if it were looking at AID, I'd tell the Hill every single thing we did. In fact, I spent a lot of my time, as did much of the rest of the staff in Washington, telling Congress all these things, the amount of reports we had to do, the amount of internal reports that were just incredible. I mean,
I thought he had a discussion panel on here. Does he not? Oh, here we go.
It's soft power influence protected. Joining me to debate all this, Sunday Times columnist Matthew Said, author and political commentator Ashley Sinclair, and Eric Weinstein is still with us. Matthew, you've been listening to all of this, first to Eric, then to John Bolton. You wrote about this at the weekend. Has anything changed your mind?
Well, I don't doubt there's a great deal of corruption, bureaucratic empire building, woke ideology infiltrating the judgments that were made, particularly during a Democrat administration. But I don't doubt that they do good things too. And I think it is a sensible thing to have a forensic accounting for a department that does seem to have been somewhat out of control. But I hope people who critique the department also recognize the malaria programs, saving lives. And there are synergistic benefits for the American taxpayer too, in the way that John Bolton described. But I would also add that this is a trivial issue in one way. The annual budget of
it's
this
the new
department,
boogeyman.
USAID, what is it, 50 billion, something like that? The level of the federal debt is 35, 36 trillion. And if this is an existential risk to the United States, and Donald Trump has talked about balancing the budget, I see no prospect of that happening with the tax cuts. Most of the independent think tanks think he will add trillions to the deficit. The interest on this debt is something like $1 trillion a year. And unless there's a reduction in entitlements, unless there's a willingness to crack down on corrupt tax avoidance, the infiltration of Congress by lobbyists, monopoly power in the corporate sector, I don't think that this existential risk is going to be alleviated by this battle over a pretty small department, even though I think in and of itself it's worth doing.
I mean, see, that's interesting because, like your last words, even in itself it's worth doing, because actually they've got to start somewhere. This is where they chose to start. Trump said yesterday, next is the education department. Elon's going to get stuck into that. Then every other department, the Pentagon, everywhere. And actually, I feel that most Americans are completely on board with this. They're like, there's clearly all sorts of crap lurking under the bonnet here, and they're going to get it out. And they're going to use these young geeks who are brilliant computer whiz kids to root out where the overspends come. Now, there are inherent dangers, which Eric, I thought, outlined very skillfully. But Ashley Sinclair, I mean, I just, if I was an American, I'd be like, yeah, get stuck into this. It's clearly the tip of the iceberg.
The American people are all for the cracked ancient scroll kid going in and dismantling all of this under Doge. And the problem is people like John Bolton who go on here, and I'm starting to realize why Trump...
It's always the young woman that's like pro-Trump now, if you notice that. For some reason, they like... a lot of times the person that they get to argue Trump's side is like a young woman. If you notice.
Revoked his security clearances and called him a very dumb person because he sits here and he holds up his award from USAID and talks about how reform was needed decades ago and did absolutely nothing. Instead, we're sending Big Bird over to Baghdad for $20 million. We have $10 million being sent for meals that are inadvertently funding and supporting al-Qaeda-backed groups in Syria. This is absurd, and the American people are tired of this. This has been terrorism, bureaucratic terrorism against the American people, and a lot of people are upset because guess what? They're going to leave the federal government, and they're going to have to actually acquire marketable skills and work for a living, because this has just been, as Mike Cernovich said, white-collar welfare, and these people are making obscene amounts of money. They are in the top 5% of earners running these NGOs that are being funneled through USAID and making $400,000 a year to disperse DEI in Serbia.
Oh, God, there it is.
Eric, was anything that John Bolton said right? I mean, did you find yourself nodding to anything he said?
You know, you're in a situation in which
he's got warts like Shanny, only they're like on his chin and instead of on his forehead.
Talking about a bit of ancient history from the Reagan administration. There's been a huge change in what USAID does recently. It's always been problematic. It's become much more so. And I think one of the things people have to realize is that in part, they view this as funding the war internally on dissenting Americans.
Yeah, DEI is the current buzzword. It was CRT a few years ago.
I don't think it's any accident that Elon has started here. I don't think that this thing about the whiz kids, you know, we're starting to create this theater around what Elon is doing. Elon is very clever in making this about a monetary outrage. When
I would grow a beard if I had warts like that.
The deeper question about it is, why is a portion of the U.S. government...
That's why Lemmy from Motorhead had a beard.
...targeting non-participating Americans who don't even know that they are against this whole of society approach because nobody ever signed them up. Nobody told them it was going on. And there is a suspicion that basically our federal apparatus has moved into destroying American lives for dissenting Americans. And I think that that's really the issue. You can talk about wizards and line item issues and the fairness about how people got rich, and that's not really the key thing. The real thing is that this is a hybrid civil war.
Matthew, I mean, I keep thinking to myself how much I'd love Elon Musk to get stuck into, say, the NHS here in the UK.
You would? No, you would regret it. You would regret that.
A health system that has become consumed with bureaucracy and massive wasting of money and so on. And you just think someone with his brain and drive and vigour getting under the bonnet of the NHS could only help us. So, I mean, do you not think that there's a sort of force for good essentially here, albeit a slightly flawed one?
Yeah, the thing I was most excited about by Trump winning the last election is what they would do at Doge. Because the British state and many other Western states are massively, radically inefficient. We can't build things, massive overspend. The NHS you've described, most of the government departments haven't had a proper audit for years. So this is highly disruptive. And I think people find it completely infuriating. The thing that you said about these departments working with the media to mark their own homework. It's a complete rip-off of the taxpayer. I'll give you one tiny, might seem like a trivial example, but I used to be a sports person, as you know, many years ago.
Very fine table tennis player.
Former Olympian. And there is a department, a Quango, so a quasi-autonomous department of the state called Sport England, that had to try and increase the amount of sports participation in the UK, had a huge budget, and failed miserably. So the bureaucrats changed the criteria on which they were judged. But they put it in the small print of the reports that they pump out there. But I looked through the small, as a journalist, I thought, I'm going to look through this. And I pointed it out in my column in the Times. And what do you think happened? They came back and started quibbling. And I thought, okay, I'm going to engage with the press officer here. The press officer, paid for by the state, should try and defend the waste of the state. And when I won that argument, they brought in a contractor on a very high fee to defraud us even more. Now, that in microcosm is what happens with the empire building. You know, many sociologists have talked about this. And you look at the number of regulations that keep increasing year by year, but there's no department to start, as it were, shaving away. And Musk has talked about, was it Gulliver? With all these regulations, what does he call it? Like nooses around the neck of the American economy. That is a coherent argument. But I do worry about Musk himself. Some of the tweets he's put out about the UK, which I know well, are completely fantasy. And I worry that he's not applying the empirical rigor that we see in his business to some of his political interaction. His flirtation with the far right in Germany worries me deeply.
Yeah, I mean, that's just clear. He's a curious one, Elon Musk, because I kind of agree. Like, a lot of his tweets can be very ill-informed, intemperate, or plain wrong. He's called for the British Prime Minister to be imprisoned, for female ministers to be imprisoned and so on, for no good reason that's based on any evidence. Right. Which I, both Matthew and I would share a view that we think that's completely over the top and just inaccurate. However, when it comes to building amazing companies in America, or now...
I mean, a lot of times he didn't build the company. The company already existed, and he came in later and brought his money with him.
Getting his teeth stuck in to the
Tesla and PayPal are two great examples of that.
Really crunching those numbers, I can't think of anyone better equipped to do it. So, it's not like I think everything Elon does is right, but I do think he's an unbelievable breath of fresh air to destabilizing and dismantling very, very, very restrictive, bloated, overspending government institutions.
I would agree. And I think people like Matthew, I'm so tired of the same old arguments. It's very reminiscent of Trump in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 about the mean tweets. Everyone likes to obsess over Elon's post on X, but it's just a tired argument. And what he's doing, he was the first person to go in and say, where is all of this money going?
Oh, yeah. Pierce is all in. He's like an all-in Trumper now.
Ugh. Are we even able to audit this? Why have we not been able to pass an audit literally ever? And he is the person to go in and do the job. And he's done a phenomenal job at this throughout his companies. And many people will say, well, the federal government's not a company. It is wasting as if it is a bloated company. And he's going to do a fantastic job at getting rid of these federal bureaucrats who are doing nothing. They're getting paid for no-show jobs. And he was the first person to actually ask, where is this going? Why can't we just go in there and audit all of the data? Why don't we have one area where we can see exactly where all of the money is being spent? So I think this is going to be a net positive for the American people. And I think anyone saying otherwise and trying to redirect to his far right tweets in the UK is really just upset that he's doing the job and doing it well when nobody else could.
Yeah, Eric, this issue of transparency, I touched on.
There's not a lot of arguing going on here, and that's usually what makes his panel discussions good. I'm going to do a quick bathroom run, and I'll be back, and then we'll watch some other stuff. See you in just a second. ugly lady Christine Chandler is. They should have known better than to change Sonic's arm color. That was a lapse in judgment there. All right, we're going to do some DP action news here. Here we go.
He called me, sir, and it got me so fuming angry.
People are discriminating against wolves. Wow. They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
And you better well learn to love it.
Tom Homan blasts Pope Francis for immigration comments.
All right, so let's talk about another headline. Meantime, President Donald Trump's mass deportation effort getting some backlash from none other than Pope Francis. In response, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is telling the Pope to stick to the Catholic Church. Those are Mr. Homan's words. Let's turn now to CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez. Camilo, what's the back and forth there? It's not often that we hear a head of government telling the Pope to stick to his job in the Catholic Church.
Well, Reed, Pope Francis has long been an outspoken and vocal advocate on behalf of migrants and refugees, and this week he penned a letter in which he essentially criticized the Trump administration's immigration policies. He said in that letter, Reed, that all countries have the legal right to defend their territory from criminals and others who may endanger the public safety and national security of people within that country. But he also denounced the deportation of migrants and refugees who are fleeing persecution and poverty, saying that that undermines the dignity of human beings. And so obviously border czar Tom Homan took issue with that statement by the Pope, saying that the Vatican, for example, has a fence around that perimeter in that part of Rome. And obviously he's saying that he as a Catholic should, be focusing on the Catholic Church and not on U.S. immigration policy and border initiatives. But this really does underscore that there is an escalating feud between some religious leaders, Reed, and the Trump administration over U.S. immigration policy. Just today,
stick to the Catholic Church.
Group of religious leaders sued the Trump administration over a decision to rescind.
It's a weird thing to say.
A Biden administration,
because it's like, oh, he can't have an opinion because he's the head of a church. I mean, shouldn't we, like, all the conservative Christian pastors out there that are pro-Trump, we should be like, shut the fuck up and stick to your church.
Policy that prohibited ICE and CBP agents from going into churches and other so-called sensitive locations to arrest undocumented immigrants.
Well, and as we heard in the days after the inauguration, you saw one of the leaders in Washington, D.C., a faith leader, saying to President Donald Trump to have mercy. It appears that there's a direct message back to those religions who have a say in this. Camilo Montoya Galvez, thank you so much for that.
All right. This is crazy. This is Trump. He did an executive order today, basically giving Doge more authority.
X, are you okay?
And Elon's kid, his little boy here, his name is X. He named his kid X.
This is X, and he's a great guy, high IQ. He's a high IQ individual.
And he's got this, check out this cool chain he's got.
So thank you very much. We had a busy day today. The king just left, and we've had a great discussion, terrific discussion concerning Gaza and everything else. We had discussions also about Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's going to be a big moment. We'll see what happens. I don't expect much happening with these people, but we'll see what happens. And we're going to be signing a very important deal today. It's Doge, and I'm going to ask Elon to tell you a little bit about it and some of the things that we found, which are shocking. Billions and billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse. And I think it's very important. And that's one of the reasons I got elected. I say we're going to do that. Nobody had any idea it was that bad, that sick, and that corrupt. And it seems hard to believe that judges want to try and stop us from looking for corruption, especially when we found hundreds of millions of dollars worth, much more than that, in just a short period of time. We want to weed out the corruption, and it seems hard to believe that a judge could say, we don't want you to do that. Well, so maybe we have to look at the judges, because that's a very serious, I think it's a very serious violation. I'll ask Elon Musk to say a few words. And
one of his kids' names is Saxon. Interesting.
We'll take some questions. Elon, go ahead.
Sure.
Musk. What a stupid fucking name. That poor kid. Is the first kid he had with Grimes. I see.
So the at a high level, you say, what is the goal of Doge or
And then their other kid's name is Exa. E-X-A. That's so stupid. Their names sound so similar.
And I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy.
Look at this kid.
This may seem like this. If
and then he has a kid named Techno. Techno Mechanicus Musk.
If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, or if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there aren't some good...
You're not elected.
There are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at the...
I need a big box of pens. Get me a big box of pens.
If you looked at the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected...
he has a lot of kids, by the way. He has like 12 kids. 12 kids with, I think, 4 different women.
Fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative.
Look at Trump. Trump and that kid are just like looking at each other like, who the fuck are you?
And this is not something that people want. And it's not. It does not match the will of the people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense. But and if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources.
He's around more than the vice president? Oh, Trump's around all the time.
It's necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
I do agree, though, that we do spend a lot on defense.
And also, could you mention some of the things that...
This kid, he's like, acting all like crazy, like,
Your team has found some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about $30 million,
right?
etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that
Trump's like, don't touch those pens, you little dweeb.
There are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from?
We need a big box of pens.
And
yeah, what he does is he signs the executive order and then he lets someone keep the pen.
And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, if you look at say Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment category.
This kid seems a little hyperactive.
Code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation, can take up to a year to get on the list, and even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing. So what we're talking about here, we're really just talking about adding common sense controls that should be present, that haven't been present. So you say, like, well, how could such a thing arise? That seems crazy. When you understand that really everything is geared towards complaint minimization, so then you understand the motivations. So if people receive money, they don't complain, obviously. But if people don't receive money, they do complain. And the fraudsters complain the loudest and the fastest. So then when you understand that, then it makes sense. Oh, that's why everything they approve all the payments at Treasury. Because if you approve all the payments, you don't get complaints. But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely on things that matter to the people. I mean, these things, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or...
It's just common sense, everybody.
Or radical, I think. It's really just saying, let's look at each...
The kid is so bored. He's staring at the ceiling right now.
...to expenditures and say, is this actually...
Is he sitting down?
People?
He got tired of standing.
And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. That's the case where, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. Also, another crazy thing. So, blah 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 blah. I mean, a mine. There's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, you know what, instead of working in
send Elon to the White House daycare,
carrying manila envelopes to,
this is the White House daycare
in the mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, I think That's an example. At a high level, if you say, like, how do we increase prosperity, is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so you increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's the actual goal. Everyone's very quiet, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, because you keep talking. That's why they're all quiet.
People normally is quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
What?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Frog Tony, yeah, you missed the Sturgis segment. It doesn't matter who gets more likes on a tweet, though, anyway. You could make like 50 sock accounts and give yourself 50 likes. So it doesn't really matter.
There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, that people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for, and that's.
Sturgis needs to get bigger shirts. He's convinced that he wears a large, where he clearly needs an XL or a double XL. And even that picture with him and Eric July together, you could tell at least Eric July knows what size shirt to wear. Eric's shirt fits him. And Sturgis' shirt, it looks like he thinks he's all muscular or something. Speaking of donating, I'm trying to get closer to this goal. If anyone wants to help out, do me a favor. Use the link pinned in the chat. Throw me a couple bucks here and there. Trying to get, let's see if we can at least get to 90% during this stream. That would be great. Thank you.
What democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No. Well, we actually.
The kid's like, no accountability.
Trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact,
I like how the kid was just like, no.
Policing yourself, what are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No. Well,
no. That kid's saying, bud. Yes, bud. Thank you, Jay Spoon. Look at that. Look how fit Sturgis is. There's no saggy man boobs. I like how he was like, I don't have man boobs because they don't sag. He has perky man boobs. It's like, he says it's a developed chest, which is like, is he saying he went through puberty and his mammaries grew or something? I don't know.
We actually are trying to be as transparent as possible.
Captain Cool AIDS.
Like our actions, we post our actions to the Doge handle.
Please like the stream
on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been. I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization.
I feel like Trump's just waiting for Elon to stop talking at this point.
So, and the kind of things
I'm waiting for the battle of egos to really kick into high gear between these two, because there are two massive egos in this same room, and it's going to be a long 4 years. We're not even a month in yet.
Doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. They're not. What I'm.
We've seen Sturgis' titties. There's the video of him like playing with his titties. And we've seen Elon's titties, because we've seen Elon with his shirt off. He's got the weird shaped torso.
Mentioned, for example, about Treasury, just making sure that payments that go out, taxpayer money that goes out, is categorized correctly, that the payment is explained, that organizations on the do not pay list, which takes a lot to get there, that actually are not paid, which currently they are paid. These are not individual judgment decisions. These are about simply having sensible checks and balances in the system itself to ensure that taxpayer money is spent well. So it's got nothing to do with, like, say, a contract with some company of mine at all.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts. When it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president I know has directed you to look into, are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say,
Hi, everybody. Please like the stream. And also, please help me get a little closer to the donation goal. We are now at 86.17%. We're really close, but we're marching along here.
wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately.
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area if we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watch that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy.
Look at my African American over there.
Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud.
I was waiting for it. He always either says millions or billions. And maybe he'll move up to trillions eventually.
I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use. But in this case, fraud and abuse. It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up, or certainly money shouldn't be sent.
Look at my African American over there.
And you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. So, but we're talking about tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah, it is weird. I'm better with listening to Trump talk than Elon. And that's saying something.
That we've already found.
What a great time and place for a giant meteor to crash right now. Wouldn't it? I would feel bad for the poor little boy that's there, but maybe he could make it out in time. Send him to the daycare center. Send the little boy to the daycare center.
And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is.
Oh, yeah, you're in charge of it.
Very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, because nobody ends a contract. You get a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract. Now, normally, if you're in a small,
here comes the invisible accordion. Government contract.
In all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big.
Yeah.
But
oh yes, thank you, Jody. Thank you so much, Jody. Holy shit, I haven't seen that Brett gif in a very long time. Whoo! Oh my goodness gracious. Holy shnikes. Whoo, my heart is racing now. Thank you so much, Jody. You're the hero of the day. And thanks to everyone who contributed. It was looking bleak to me for a moment there. Like, usually we don't get into Tuesday with the goal, but times are tough. Times are tough for everybody. And there's a lot of uncertainty out there right now. And, I went to Costco the other day. They didn't have any eggs. No eggs. And I don't eat eggs, but I'm very interested in, like, the price of eggs. So I was going to go in there just to see how much the eggs at Costco were. They were all gone. Not one single fucking egg. in Costco. Usually they have like a whole giant room full of dairy products, and there's like pallets and pallets of eggs. I remember a few months ago, you could buy 5 dozen eggs, and it was some stupid low price. Hey, if you like, most people like eggs. That's a weird food quirk with me that I never grew out of. I was a really picky eater as a kid, and I thought eggs were like the most disgusting thing ever. And I turned around with a lot of food that I was picky about before that I wouldn't eat. But eggs is just one that I never turned around. So, let's see. Goal amount. Oh, yeah.
If you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months. You know, it's a consultant. Here's a contract for 3 months, but it goes on for 20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years, you know? They don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month.
I saw this thing the other day where Trump tweeted about how he was going to get rid of the paper straw thing that I guess Biden like enacted, this paper straw thing. And Jeremy from the Core Ring was like, yeah, let's get him another term. You'd think the largest Costco in the world would be in the Seattle area because that's where Costco was headquartered. The headquarters of Costco is in Issaquah, Washington, which isn't too far from me. That is strange. And that like Kirkland brand, that's named after Kirkland, Washington, which is north of me.
And you have various things like that, and even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be corruption. It could be a deal's made on both sides, you know, where you gotta get some money.
What if I've joked about this before, but what if they created a Trump AI? Like they had AI analyze Trump, like, you know, all of the media footage of him and everything he's done as president. And then they create a Trump AI and they're like, this is our new emperor. Fucking Trump AI.
I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here.
There's a lot of kickbacks.
Yeah, tremendous kickback, because nobody could...
Lots of kickbacks, tremendous kickbacks. Believe me, I know kickbacks. Nobody knows kickbacks more than me.
Be so stupid.
I would not be down for AI Trump. I'm so he's you know, when Trump first got elected, a lot of the people in my Discord server were freaking out, and I was like, you guys are kind of catastrophizing a little bit about this. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as you think, but it is kind of gearing up to be that crazy. The Project 2025 stuff is happening. It is. And all of the fucking tariffs that are going to make everything more expensive, I don't see how you can spin that as a good thing. It's not beneficial to anyone. The only people it doesn't affect are the people who are too fucking rich to care. So if the cost of food goes up like 500%, Elon can still buy that shit. Can you?
To give out some of these contracts, so he has to get a kickback. So that's what I got elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big...
I like metal reusable straws.
Big part of it. And I hope that the...
Hey, Puma, you don't have to type in all caps constantly. It's kind of annoying.
Court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things...
I don't eat Spanish olives. I mean, I would if I had some, but...
All of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many billions of dollars. And when you get down to it, it's going to be probably close to $1 trillion. It could be close to $1 trillion that we're going to find. That will have quite an impact on the budget. And you'll go to a judge where they handpick a judge, and he has certain leanings. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but he has certain leanings.
I'm not knocking anybody.
And he wants us to
Trillions
stop looking.
and trillions.
How do you stop looking? I mean, we've already found it. We have a case in New York where a hotel has paid $59 million.
I can't imagine celebrating having to pay more for shit. Like, part of his campaign promise is that he was going to bring down the cost of all this shit. But all that's happened is the cost of things have gone up, and now there's tariffs making other things more expensive. None of that is, none of it has happened yet. None of the things he said he was going to do has come close. It's gone the other way.
Million because it's housing migrants, illegal migrants, all illegal, I believe.
And they were being paid twice the normal room rate at 100% occupancy.
Unbelievable.
So it's a racket.
Mr. Musk, I'm ask a question.
Well, if I may sort of just
that little kid.
going for the president's comments.
You know what? I'm a big fan, as most of you guys know, I'm a big wrestling fan, and I like the older wrestling, like the 80s and 90s stuff. So I'm a fan of Ric Flair as a wrestler. He's kind of psycho as a human being, but I like him as a wrestler. And it annoys me so much when he tweets because he capitalizes every word as if it's like a title to he writes it as if it's like the title to a movie or like a headline or something.
At a high level, you say, well, what? How exactly?
What about AEW? It's okay. I've been to 2 live AEW events, but it's been a while. I don't really watch. I don't watch wrestling every week like I used to. No, Ric Flair's still alive. He's still kicking. He almost died in 2017. He almost died. He was like on his deathbed, but somehow he pulled through and he's still around.
What are the 2 ingredients that are really necessary in order to cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1 trillion? And it's really 2.
He's like, I'd say, like, as far as being a wrestler, Ric Flair's like my second favorite wrestler ever. And there's an argument that he's the greatest wrestler ever, but I like Randy Savage. He's my favorite wrestler, and I think he's the most well-rounded wrestler ever. Where he wasn't the best at everything, but he was so great in all these different things, you know? Like, he was a high flyer, but he could do the power moves too. He was one of those like larger than life personalities. He had the voice and he could cut a promo. You know, he was believably tough. He was smaller than a lot of the guys were back then. Now he'd be one of the bigger guys because a lot of wrestlers are small now. But like next to Hulk Hogan and all the other like really big guys, he was like a smaller wrestler, and he could do the high flying shit. But he was just so good all around. So Randy Savage is my favorite wrestler ever. Yeah.
Things: competence and caring. And if you add competence and caring, you'll cut the budget deficit in half. And
confidence and caring, the 2 C's. Did you guys know that? That's all you had to do.
I fully expect to be scrutinized and get a daily proctology exam, basically.
Whoa, that was interesting.
Might as well just camp out there.
I don't like wishing death on most people. Like, I'm not a big fan of Hogan. But I don't want to be like, oh, I wish he would have died. Like, most people, I don't wish they would die. But Trump, I kind of wish he would just, like, not exist anymore. I think the world would be much better off. I mean, now, I wish it would have happened before the election, because J.D. Vance is bad, too. But, you know, I'm not a fan of Trump. I think the world would be better off if Trump was not with us anymore.
So it's not like I think I can get away with something. I'll be scrutinized nonstop. But with support of the president, we can cut.
There's like a signature on the bill of his hat.
The budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1, and then with deregulation, because there's a lot of sort of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good.
That kid has been staring at the pens a lot. He wants one of those pens.
We need to free the.
He's picking his nose. That'd be funny if he like wiped it on Trump.
Builders of America to build. And if we do that, that means
picking the shit out of his nose.
I think we can get the economic
He's like knuckle deep right now.
Growth to be maybe 3-4%, maybe 5%.
He just ate it. He just ate it. Oh God.
And that means if you can get $1 trillion of economic growth and you cut the budget deficit by, that means you can get the economic growth to be maybe 3-4%. Maybe.
Yep. Oh God. Oh my God.
5%. And that means if you can get $1 trillion of economic growth and you cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion between now and next year,
I'm grossed out.
There is no inflation. There's no inflation in 26.
He's still picking.
If the government is not
He's
borrowing
still picking the shit out of his
it means
nose.
that interest costs decline. So everyone's the mortgage, their car payment, their credit card bills, anything, their student debt, the monthly.
He's doing it again. He won't stop.
That's a fantastic scenario for the average American.
Whoa, something just startled the kid. Something startled him where he there was a loud noise and he took a big step back and look at the look on his face now. He's like, what the fuck is going on? The kid is the most interesting part of this fucking press conference here. Hold on.
Their student debt.
You'll hear a loud noise and then he takes a step back like, what?
The monthly payments drop. That's a fantastic scenario for the average American.
Something scared him.
I mean, imagine they're going down the grocery aisle and the price.
I think he's only 3 or 4 years old. I was just looking up when he was born.
This is from 1 year to the next.
He's whispering.
Are the same, and they're.
Trump's I don't know if Trump likes little kids.
Their mortgage, all their debt payments dropped. How great is that for the average American?
He's picking again.
We had no idea. We had no idea we were going to find this much, and it's open. It's not complicated. It's
not
simple
that
stuff.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
You can't believe it. A lot of work. A lot of smart people involved. Very, very smart people. But you're talking about anywhere maybe 500 million.
Oh, you want it picked up.
Crazy the kind of numbers you're talking about. Normally when you're looking at something, you'll find you're looking.
For a second there, I'm like, oh, that's wholesome. I'm not a fan of Elon, but when he picked up his kid, I'm like, oh, that's a wholesome moment.
For 1 out of 100. Here you're almost.
He should wipe boogers on him now.
Reversing it. You look for one that's good.
Yeah.
And you can look at the title. And you say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And the public gets it. The public gets it. You've seen the polls. The public is saying, why are we paying all this money? This for years.
Now they're having a side conversation while Trump is trying to talk.
This has gone on.
My dad would be like, shut up. The president's trying to talk right now. My dad would have told me to shut up. Elon has 12 kids. He has 12 kids.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait.
With 3 or 4 different mothers. I'm not sure. It's 3 or 4 different mothers.
Go ahead.
Senator Rand Paul today said that Doge cuts will ultimately need a vote in Congress. Do you agree with that? Is that the plan?
I really don't know.
This kid's a booger eater, though. He just ate a booger on national TV.
I know this. We're finding tremendous fraud and tremendous abuse. If I need a vote of Congress to find fraud and abuse, it's fine.
I mean, having a kid with Elon is like a retirement plan. Because he has to pay out the ass in child support. You pay based on your income. So he's paying a shitload of money to all these women that he's not in relationships with anymore, that he has kids with. He's paying out the ass for these kids. So that's Grimes' retirement plan. If her music career fizzles out, she'll be fine because she had, I think, 3 of Elon's kids.
With me, I think we'll get the vote, although there'll be some people that wouldn't vote. And how could a judge want to hold us back from finding all of this fraud and finding all of this incompetence? Why would that happen? Why would even Congress want to do that? Now, Congress, if we do need a vote, I think we'd get a very easy vote because we have a track record now. We've already found billions of dollars.
Will you shut that kid up?
Of abuse, incompetence, and corruption. A lot of corruption.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you comply?
Well, I
with that
always
order?
abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum, and it gives crooked people more time to cover up the books. You know, if a person's crooked and they get caught, other people see that, and all of a sudden it becomes harder later on. So, yeah, the answer is I always abide by the courts, always abide by them, and will appeal. But appeals take a long time, and I would hope that a judge, if you go into a judge and you show him, here's a corrupt situation, we have a check to be sent, but we found it to be corrupt.
I love he's not doing the accordion, though, because his hands are outward like this. He's doing this now instead of this.
Want us to send this corrupt check to a person, or do you want us...
Prenups don't have anything to do with child support. A prenup is about, like, if you get a divorce, you know, do you have to give some of your money to your ex? This has nothing to do with that. A prenup doesn't make it so that you don't have to pay child support. And he makes so much money that, like, a court would order him to pay quite a bit of money.
Not to give it and give it back to the taxpayer. I would hope a judge would say, don't send it, give it back to the taxpayer.
Yeah, if I can add to that, what we're finding is that...
he's got him on his shoulders.
Not even going to America.
Okay, now I want to see the kid pick his nose and wipe a booger on his dad's MAGA hat.
Americans. So I think we can all agree that if there's going to be fraud, it should at least go to Americans. But a bunch of the fraud rings that are operating in the United States and taking advantage of the federal government, especially in the entitlements programs.
God, guys, I'll tell you what. I am so tired of this winter shit. I cannot wait. I mean, the days are already getting longer. And the spring equinox will come up, and then we'll actually have more daylight hours than nighttime hours. But it's finally I'm feeling the winter blues.
Are actually foreign fraud rings. They're operating in other countries. And
it's funny because this kid probably has no concept of, like, how wealthy and powerful his father is. Probably not at this age. And he probably doesn't understand the, like, magnitude of the place he's in right here. Probably not.
Actually exporting money to other countries. We should stop that. And this is big numbers. Talk about $100 to $200 billion a year.
Sure.
Serious money.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms.
Start pinching your dad's cheeks.
Was sent to Gaza. But after fact check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all,
he's going to take a nap up there.
The things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
I don't think you want to drive like Paul Walker, because I think that caused some issues for him a while back. So driving like Paul Walker, probably not a good idea. I think Paul Walker would agree.
If I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. But
either way, he was in the car.
If it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that?
I hate driving in the snow. My car has rear-wheel drive, and it cannot drive in the snow very well. It fishtails a lot. Even when it's wet, my car fishtails if I hit the gas too hard. I think Elon Musk needed some condoms more than a few times.
Can you talk a little bit about how closely you're working with agency heads as you're directing these cuts? Do they have the How much input do agency heads have?
Yeah, my car's a V8 and it's rear wheel drive. So if I hit the gas too fast, it like fishtails. If it's wet out at all, it'll like fishtail before it takes off. So I have to really, really ease onto it if I'm. One time I got stuck going uphill too when it was kind of icy out. I was going up a steep hill here because it's really hilly over here. And I got stuck going uphill and I couldn't get enough traction to make it to the top of the hill. Some guy had to. I have traction control. Yeah, I have it. It wasn't working. And some guy like got out of his car and like gave my car a little push with his car to get me up the hill. All I needed was a little push. It's a very steep hill and it was icy.
When you're making these decisions?
Yeah, we work closely with the agency heads, yeah. So there are sort of checks in place. So it's not just us just going in and doing things willy nilly.
I have my car is a 2015 Dodge Charger Hemi 100th anniversary edition. In 2015, it was the 100th anniversary of Dodge, and they put out special editions of the Challenger and the Charger, and that's what I have. And it still has it has like 60,000 miles on it because I don't drive it a lot. A lot of times I obviously I work from home and then I take the bus. Like if I'm going out, I'll probably have some drinks, so I usually take the bus. I really only drive when it's absolutely necessary.
And it's in partnership with the agency heads, and
my car is never broken down. It just fishtails when it's wet.
I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and I double check things to make sure, is this something, Mr. President, you want us to do this? We'll do it.
USAID has been one of your main targets.
Oh my God. USAID is the new boogeyman. And he lied. I saw him. He made a tweet where he claimed USAID funded the Wuhan lab that created the coronavirus.
Are you concerned at all that some of the cuts or that shutting that agency altogether?
I will say Seattle is fairly walkable. And its public transit system has grown by leaps and bounds since I moved here. So it's pretty good to get around in. Very, very walkable city is Vancouver, Canada. They have really good, they have the SkyTrain system, which makes it really easy to get around. And they don't have any freeways in like the middle of the city. Like most American cities, there's like neighborhoods separated by these huge stretches of freeway. They don't have freeways. The freeways are outside of the city. And then when you're in the city, you're just driving on regular roads.
May lead to diseases or other bigger problems starting in other countries that then come to the United States.
Yeah, so that's an interesting example. So that's something where we work closely with the State Department and Secretary Rubio. And we have, for example, turned on funding for Ebola prevention and for HIV.
This kid, I don't know. I think this kid's got some, hyperactivity issues.
HIV prevention.
Left that, you said?
Yes, correct. And we are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we'll also fix the mistakes very quickly. So
Do you think that's a worthy cause, USAID?
I think that there's some worthy things, but overall, if you say what is the bang for the buck, I would say it was not very good. And there was far too much of what USAID was doing was influencing elections in ways that I think
he's going to take a nap, just like leaning on his dad's head.
I can just ask a follow-up to the Pentagon contracts. If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department
I always wondered why they called it a piggyback ride. Like, why is it a piggyback ride? Can someone tell me that? I didn't grow up on a farm, so I don't know.
Yeah, where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know. Because every one of them was.
He's wiping his booger fingers all over his dad's face. I wonder if Elon saw the recording of this later and saw how his kid was like knuckle deep up into his nose.
The president said the other day that
and then he ate it. He was like,
look at treasuries. Could you explain that a little bit? What kind of fraud, or
knuckle deep,
to both of you, what kind of fraud are you expecting to see or do you see right now in U.S. treasuries?
Yeah, I think you mean the Treasury Department as opposed to Treasury bills. Or
you also referenced treasuries on Air Force One the other night.
Go ahead. Well, as I mentioned earlier, really,
I think Trump is bored.
The first order of business is to make sure we're actually collecting. Sorry for this. I thought my son might enjoy this, but he's sticking his fingers in my ears and stuff.
Trump's like, yeah, you get him.
So it's a bit hard to hear sometimes. Hey, stop that. So
I'm afraid he's going to drop the kid.
No, the stuff we're doing with Treasury Department is so basic.
This video's 30 minutes long. So Trump has only spoken for probably about 5 minutes of this video, and the rest is just Elon yapping and yapping. And Trump's just kind of like, what?
You can't believe it doesn't exist already. So for example, like I mentioned,
yeah, it was a bad move to bring the kid. Okay, like the kid is a constant distraction.
Just making sure that when a payment goes out, it has to have a payment categorization code. It's like, what type of payment is this? You can't just leave the field blank. Currently, many payments, the field is left blank. And you have to describe what's the payment for, some basic rationalization. That also is left blank.
Yeah, I think you're right, Two Guns. Yep, using his son as a prop to make himself seem endearing. I think you're right there. I don't think I've seen you around in a while, Two Guns. Welcome back. I don't think I've seen you in a while here, but I'm glad to see you.
So this is why
we used to do all the fun gaming back in the day. We need to bring that shit back.
Pentagon. When's the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I mean, a decade ago, maybe. Ever? Really? And we want to just in order.
The kid's making like a kind of face.
Actually, pass audits, you have to have financial information that allows you to trace the payments. And once in a while, the Treasury has to pause payments if it thinks the payment is going to a fraudulent organization.
The kid could piss on Musk's shoulders, maybe.
If a company or organization is on a do not pay list,
I don't know how old the kid is. I think he's like 4 or 5, something like that.
We should not pay it. I'm sure you would agree. It's like
I think he was born in 2021. I think is what I read.
It's quite hard to get on that payment.
I remember when Grimes was pregnant with him.
The do not pay list. It means that this is someone that is just it's like dead people, terrorists.
That means he has dual citizenship too. I wonder if he was born in Canada. I wonder where he was born. Because I know Grimes is Canadian. This kid has dual citizenship. He probably has citizenship in South Africa too. I don't know how their citizenship law works, but I guess when you're Elon Musk's kid, you know.
Known fraudsters, that kind of thing, we should not pay them. But currently we do, which is crazy. We should stop that.
Many transactions. And by the way, hundreds, thousands of transactions like that. You know, we have a big team.
Don't pull out your dad's hair plugs, X. I hate that his name is X. That's so fucking sad. Not only it's a bad enough name for a website, but you got to name your child X. It's ridiculous.
And for the sake of the country, I hope that the person that's in charge and the other people that report to me that are in charge are allowed to do the right thing, namely make sure everything's honest, legitimate, and competent. But we're looking at just...
he picked his nose and ate his boogers while he was standing right next to Trump earlier.
When you look at USAID, that's one. We're going to look at the military. We're going to look at education. They're much bigger areas. But the USAID is really corrupt. I'll tell you, it's corrupt. It's incompetent, and it's really corrupt. And I can't imagine a judge saying, well, it may be corrupt, but you don't have the right. You got elected to look over the country.
Little
and
X ate his boogers next to the president.
Great again, but you don't have the right to go and look and see whether or not things are right that they're paying, or that things are honest that they're paying. And nobody can even believe this. Other people, law professors, they've been saying, can't.
He has another kid that's like, what was her name? I can't remember. Hold on. Elon Musk kids. All right. Let's see really quick here. These are his kids. Close that. All right. All right. So, Nevada Alexander Musk was his child that passed away with his first wife, Justine Wilson. And they named him Nevada because he was born in Vegas. He's not really clever with the names. Griffin, that's an okay name, but why did he name the kid Griffin? Is Griffin the one that's trans? Which one is the trans kid? Well, Griffin would be like 21 years old. Let's see. Vivian Jenna Wilson. Huh. So this one, this kid took their mom's last name instead of Elon's. God, they were pumping out kids. They pumped out 2 kids in a year? Are they twins? How did this happen? Oh, okay. Vivian is the trans one. I see. And they are twins. I think they might be identical twins. Kai. Yeah, we remember Kai from when they dated Onision, or they were married to Onision. So they had a kid that passed away. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 with Justine Wilson. No. 5 with Justine Wilson. Saxon. I feel like that's a dog whistle. But I could be wrong. You guys let me know what you think. Another one with Justine Wilson. Holy shit, they had so many kids. Damian Musk, born in 2006. They had triplets. What? That's ridiculous. And then here's X, the little boy that we see here. He was born in 2020. So he's 4 now. He'll be 5 in May. He's probably a Taurus like me. And then there's X, and then there's Xa. Dark Side. Dude, these names are insane. They like this letter, that like Greek letter that's like an A and an E together. They put it in both of their kids' names here. And then Techno, they named their kid after an outdated style of electronic music. Techno. Mechanicus Musk. Whatever, Elon. Born in 2022. And then there's this one with Siobhan Zillis. And she is the director of Neuralink. So they were like working together and he knocked her ass up. And she's 39, so she's younger than me. She's like 5 years younger than me. And she has 3 kids with Elon Musk. Azure Musk? Okay, whatever. And then they just had a kid last year that, and the name has not been publicly released. And that's his most recent kid he had with Siobhan Zilis or Zilis, however you pronounce it. Strider is a cool game. I don't know if it's good to name your kid Strider, but whatever.
That person's right away. You're supposed to be running the country, but we're not allowed to look at who they're paying it to and what they're paying. We have massive amounts of fraud that we caught. I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in, 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
On the buyout program, can you personally guarantee that...
Which one?
The buyout program, the offer to federal workers. Can you personally guarantee that the workers who opt in to resign now will be paid through September?
They'll get their money, but they're getting a good deal. They're getting a big buyout. And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people. We have office space. It's occupied by 4%. Nobody's showing up to work because they were told not to. And then Biden gave them a 5-year pass, some of them.
I feel like if you can do the job from home, you should. That's less cars on the road. That's less pollution pumping into the sky. I think if your job, because of technology, the way we have technology now, if you can work from home, you should be able to do it. And even putting COVID aside, I think if you can work from home, you should. They just finally started making the Amazon employees go into the office. Like this year.
48,000 of them, gave them a 5-year pass, that for 5 years you don't have to show up to work. And let me tell you, this is largely, much of this stuff is because of Biden. It's his fault.
I love it.
He allowed this country.
All the problems. He'll be saying that for the next 4 years. He'll be blaming Biden, 3 years from now for everything.
What he did on our border. What he did on our border is almost not as bad as what he did with all of these contracts that have come out. It's a very sad day when we look at it. I can't even believe it. But many contracts just extend and they just keep extending, and there was nobody there to correct it. And that cannot be, I can't imagine that could be held up by the court. Any court that would say that the president or his representative...
All right, now let the little boy sit on your shoulders, Mr. President.
Like Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of State, whatever, doesn't have the right to go over their books and make sure everything's honest. I mean, how can you have a country? You can't have anything that way. You can't have a business that way. You can't have a country that way. Hey, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
He's like, I'm wrapping it up. I want a Diet Coke. I see the red Diet Coke button. Do you see it right there? There's like a gold-looking coin next to it. I see the red Diet Coke button. The last time my parents came to visit me here, they're like addicted to Diet Coke, and they bought a case of Diet Coke and didn't finish it. And it's just been sitting around because I think Diet Coke is gross. So there's just been like this case of Diet Coke sitting around, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to throw it away. But I don't know. I almost want to just like leave it outside and maybe someone will take it. Where'd the kid go? The kid disappeared.
Mark Vogel will be at the White House tonight at about 10 o'clock. If you want to come over, you can say hello to him.
Did you guys get anything in return?
Not much. No.
No, it needs to be a renowned zero button, bud.
Oh, they were very nice. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually. I hope.
Yeah, I thought about giving it to a food bank, but it's like it doesn't even have any nutritional value to it. At least regular Coke has calories, but Diet Coke has no nutritional value at all.
That's the beginning of a relationship where we can end that war and millions of people can stop being killed.
No, I'm not going to mail it to my mom and dad. It'd be cheaper for me just to send them the money to buy Diet Coke where they live than it would be to ship a case of Diet Coke to them. That'd be ridiculous.
They've lost millions of people. They lost, in terms of soldiers, probably 1.5 million soldiers in a short period of time. We got to stop that war. And I'm interested primarily from the standpoint of death. We're losing all those soldiers. And they're not American soldiers, the Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. But you're probably talking about 1.5 million, I think. I think we got to bring that one to an end. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're moving.
Let's go. Let's move.
Thank you. We're moving.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock
Thank you.
tonight at the White House. All right, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Let's head out.
You want me to sign? You want to buy signed Diet Cokes? I thought about buying some posters and signing them, but I didn't know how interested people would be in that shit. But I thought about printing up some DP posters and signing them. Oh, man. Yeah, the war's not ending. He has no authority to end this war. So, wow. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for supporting me and helping me meet the goal and hanging out and having fun. And, you know, I think, you know, I'll be back tomorrow. I think I got Shabisky again with me tomorrow. Been trying to get some other people on. It's just really, lately people have been so busy, like trying to get Jeff back. Jeff is really busy. Been trying to get Hannibal and Monty on. It's funny because they were like, oh yeah, we could do it. And then I just never heard back from them. Asterios had something coming up. Otherwise I was going to have him on soon. I'll figure it out though. We will have it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. All right. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Goodbye now.